If you're a few years into your business and you are feeling bored and stressed and distracted and just in a spot where you're not loving the business like you were the first year, where the first year you had this vision, you had this momentum, things were going, and now you don't have that. Well, I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years, and there's this dynamic that I call the 3-year turn and burn cycle. And I'm going to introduce you to what that is, why we as entrepreneurs get into it between year 3 and year 5, and exactly how to get out of it. Hey guys, I'm Trevor, CEO of Carrot.com. And over the years, we've been blessed to be able to build businesses in the 8 figures and be able to drive over $70 million in revenue total across all my businesses. And in that learning, in those lessons from starting Carrot.com and several other businesses before that, ones that failed, ones that did well, I found this dynamic that once you get about 2 to 4 years into your business, this little thing creeps up that I call the 3-year turn and burn cycle that hits us, almost blindsides us sometimes, and knocks us off track, makes us get distracted and go down rabbit holes of starting new companies and tackling new ideas and disliking our work. So we dive into something that feels new and fresh. And I'm going to walk you through how we slide into this 3-year turn and burn cycle in the first place. It's crazy common. I was talking with one of our Epic members a couple weeks ago, and they were describing what they're going through. And I said, you're probably in that 2 to 4 year mark, right? And he goes, oh my gosh, that's exactly where I am. And there's a couple specific dynamics I'm going to walk you through, help you shift the mindset, and then give you something tactical to wade through the 3-year turn and burn cycle. Okay. So the first thing, like, how do we recognize when we're in the 3-year turn and burn cycle? Well, we get bored. Right. Oftentimes the very thing that jumped up to us that we enjoyed, we really don't do a whole lot anymore. Right. Those things that got us where we are, that gave us the most energy. Now we're doing other things in our business because we have a team and we have process to maintain and a bunch of other things. And so we kind of get bored, or that energy starts to be driven down. We will sometimes get unmotivated, right? Where we don't really want to do the work that we're about to do. And if you're asking that question for yourself and you're looking in the mirror and too many days in a row, you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to work. If you have been in business for 2 to 4 years, there's a very specific reason why. And you can solve that. I'm going to show you how to do that in here. You might get stressed, right? Because the business is just different today than it was. And you're getting pulled in all these different directions. And you might be kind of wandering aimlessly, right? Wandering without clarity. And when we don't have clarity, that's when we start to do a lot of work thinking more work and faster work is going to get us where we want to go. But it doesn't. It actually makes it so we resent the business because we don't even know where we're going in the first place. Right. And that's where busy can come in, because we dive back in. We say, I think fixing these things requires me to do more work. In actuality, that might actually be leading you faster in the wrong direction. And I already mentioned distracted. This is a spot where we get really, really distracted in that business, and we start to look at all these opportunities. Okay, well, let's kind of talk about and look at what is that journey as an entrepreneur. Well, as an entrepreneur, when we're getting going, we're really, really pumped about something. We have a motivational source at the start. We always have a motivational source in our businesses, in our lives. Something has to motivate us to move, right? If you have a job and you enjoy that job, there's no motivational source to go start a business. But if you don't like the job, or you don't like your business you're in right now, or you don't like your boss, or you don't like your income ceiling, usually there's something we don't like that is that initial motivational source, right? There's something we don't like that gets us going and started to get that business going. That's what gives us the energy. Sometimes it's a dark energy, a dirty energy, where it's like, I don't want this thing, so therefore I'm going to go this direction. Now, the challenge with that type of motivational source, an external motivational source, is it works amazingly well to get going, but it doesn't work very well to keep us going. And so we get the business started, right? It starts to grow. That initial vision and focus takes us out there, and we start to learn how to drive revenue, and we work our butts off because we want to get away from this thing back here that we don't like, that motivational source that we're trying to run away from. But then once we dial in some of the things that work about the business, we found a revenue model, right? We hired a few people. It's predictable now. So you're away from that thing. Maybe it's in a year, maybe it's in 18 months, maybe it's in 2 years, maybe it's in 3 years. You're away from that thing. What we don't do oftentimes then is switch towards shifting towards something new. Okay. And so around that time, 2 to 4 years, we have success. right? Things look great. Oh my gosh, I'm making good money. I hit the goals I thought I would hit someday, but you lose newness. And when we as entrepreneurs lose newness and we no longer have that fresh new challenge to tackle, we're maintaining the business, or we're stuck in a bunch of work that drains our energy, then that's where we get distracted by the new opportunity. I see it happen all the time in the real estate investment market. Hey, I'm an investor, I'm wholesaling, or I'm an agent. I had some success. Now I need something new because my original motivation source of running away from that thing is no longer relevant because I've got some money in the bank. Now I want to be a coach. Now I want to start a software company. Now I want to do any one of these things. Now, I'm not saying you can't do those things, but here's the challenge and the problem that comes with that is whenever we hit that 3-year turn and burn cycle and all those symptoms I talked about before start to happen, you get bored, unmotivated, distracted, stressed, you start to wander without clarity. And we look for that new hit, that new fix, that new thing that I can start up that gives me energy, because now you know what you're doing? Is now you're running away from something again. You're running away from the business that you built for yourself that you don't like. That happened to me in 2012. I had built a business, had done, we were doing about $500,000 a year, and it was consistent. It was consistent. I was making good money as a mid-20-something-year-old kid, but man, I did not like my business. I didn't like my job. I was every single one of those things. I was bored. I was unmotivated, stressed, distracted by new opportunities. So I started to invest money over here. I invested into this software company. That one died. I invested into this one. That one's crushing it today. It's called Sales Message. My friend Chris Brisson is the founder and runs that one. I started coaching. I started consulting. And then I did this thing over here. I had 3, 4, 5 different things going on, trying to find that fix. I didn't understand it or recognize it in the moment, but I was trying to find that next fix, that next thing that was going to give me energy, because I knew my existing business wasn't. I was running away from that business. Okay. So what we need to do instead of distraction, because if we continually get distracted, we're just going to cycle through the 3-year turn and burn cycle. Okay. We're going to get distracted. Our original business that got us there starts to go down. Okay. Because that original source of motivation, that original vision now is gone. We're through it. It's no longer relevant. It's no longer fuel for us. It's no longer driving us. So we look for the fix. We get distracted by the new thing. The existing thing starts to fade off and not do well. Then we hit rock bottom, and then we start to go, oh my gosh, I got to do something to change. And so then we get motivated. We get vision and focus again, but that vision focus is once again to save our butts and to move away from pain again. It's to move away from the thing I don't like. Okay. What I want to challenge you to do instead is, if you're continually feeling any of these symptoms I've talked about, what we need to do is, instead of getting distracted, we need to now refresh our vision. Okay, we need to refresh our vision. What does that mean? Well, instead of running away from something, we need to start running towards something. Okay. Around that 2 to 4 year mark, I usually like to refresh that vision every 3 years or so on the business side, and every year on the personal side, just get crazy clear on where I want to go. And when we refresh that vision, we cast the business vision out another 3 years. Okay. We say, okay, who was I 3 years ago? When I was trying to start the business, you were probably a different identity altogether. Now, in order to recast or refresh a bigger vision, we have to be a different person, right? If we're fundamentally not a different person with different ambitions, with different skill sets, with different desires and habits and disciplines, then we're probably going to have a real hard time casting a new vision. Okay. But if we have stepped in and grown and built new relationships and got new people around us, then we're probably logically going to have a bigger vision, something that excites us for the future. So I want you to pull back and document, what is that vision? Okay. What are the things that you need to do? Get clarity in where you want to go, get clarity in what you're running towards. And what you're running towards is usually that ideal average day, that personal life vision. Okay. What things give me energy and help me produce for the world? It's running towards a role in your company that gives you that every single day. Refresh your role in the company. Make a role that you are pumped about and adjust your existing business around that. Okay. What a lot of us do is we get distracted outside of our business. We take the business that got us where we want to, or where we are today, and we build something completely outside of that business. What if we just innovate the existing business, make it even better? And what if we just innovate our existing job and make it even better? Okay. Then we're not getting distracted and killing the thing that got us, so we're making it even stronger. You're building a real asset. When we shift every 1 to 3 years, we're not building an asset. We're just building an income that we're always going to be at the mercy of this income roller coaster. We want to build an asset and really go up. Okay. And so as we're doing that, we start to look at that. Well, we once again, we have that option down here of drifting. We can drift off to distraction, or we can then get clear and design where we want to go next. Whenever we design, that's what leads towards transformation. Okay. But we have to sit down and think about it. What is it that I want? When we don't sit down and think about it, we drift, or we default to what we know, which leads us to a business we don't love. Okay. So kind of in closing here, if you're feeling any of those symptoms, if you're bored continually, if you're unmotivated, if you're stressed, if you're distracted by new opportunities, if you feel like you're busy with no end in sight, if you feel like your energy is continually getting drained from you and your business, odds are you're probably somewhere between 2 to 4 years in your business, or you're somewhere on that 3-year cycle. You might be 5 or 6 years into your business. You might be 7 to 9 years into your business, but usually about every 3 years, if we don't refresh that vision, we hit the 3-year turn and burn cycle. Okay. And then we turn towards distractions and we drift, and then we burn, and then we have to start it all back over again. Okay. So I want to challenge you with this. If you're in that spot, I want you to pull away for a day, pull away for half a day, pull away for a weekend. I don't care what it is. But ask yourself, what am I excited about for the future? What is the new vision? Where do I want to go? What role or what job would I be absolutely pumped to work in every single day that would give me energy more often than not? Who are the people I want to work around? And I want you to write down what that new vision is. And ask yourself, can my existing business be adjusted and shaped to get there? And odds are it can be, unless you absolutely are just not passionate about the industry, the product, anything about your existing business. Okay. But odds are most of the time I've been able to find that I can shift. I can keep many of the same people. I can just adjust that business, keep the momentum that's there, set it up for success, get the right people to continue leading that part of it. And then you go focus on the next growth level of that business. All right, guys. So write down that vision, write down what excites you moving forward. What is going to be that new motivational source? What is going to be the thing that drives you forward, not the thing that you're running away from? All right. So if you're in that 3-year turn burn cycle, let me know wherever you're listening to this. If you're watching this on YouTube, pop in the comments box. Oh my gosh, yes, I'm in the 3-year turn and burn cycle. And let me know what your biggest challenge is. What's the biggest pain point? What's the biggest thing that's just wearing you down right now? If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, hit me with a DM on IG. Okay, Trevor.Mauch, that's Mauch. And hit me with a DM and say, Trevor, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at in the 3-year turn and burn cycle. I'm going to use that as content to put more specifics how to solve your challenge in the next Evergreen Market or Entrepreneur Freedom Formula shows. And I'm rooting for y'all because you can pull out of this. You can 100% design the business that you love, but it does take work. It takes change, and it takes a little bit of leap of faith. All right, guys. So if you're enjoying these episodes on the Entrepreneur Freedom Formula, like, subscribe, share wherever you're listening to or watching this. And I just encourage you to really think about the fact that you can build a business that you enjoy. It's possible. You can do it. And you probably used to enjoy your business at one time. What would have to be true for you to absolutely love your business again and have that fire, that vision, that refueled vision that pulls you forward? All right, we'll see you on the next episode.